Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to BTV, Better Than Vegas here. In the background you're going to see some Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge gameplay, which is going to tie into the subject I'm going to be talking about later on with various different things. And today's episode is about the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's brand new gaming console, and the question of the Switch, who is it good for? Which, long story short, the Switch is good for hardcore gamers. So I guess you've seen all you needed to. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time. No. Actually, we're going to be discussing some of the ideas behind why I think that, and a lot of the issues surrounding it right now on most online forums and YouTube. Basically, it seems to be torn almost completely 50-50 online anyway, where it's like, oh, it's doomed, it's going to do terrible, they haven't learned their lesson, and wow, this is great. This is what it should have been. This is amazing. This will help save Nintendo like Nintendo was actually in any trouble. So we're going to be getting into it, and the reason I chose this gameplay is because this and a few other games kind of highlight some of the issues both systems face. And the other games are Deus Ex Human Revolution, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, and Batman Arkham City, the Armored Edition. Now, when I say these are some of the big issues, is one of the issues that a lot of people are talking about, be it positive or negative here, is price and how much the system costs, how much the game costs, and all the accessories and that, because a lot of the stuff is pretty pricey compared to like the other competitors, Sony and Microsoft. And that's one of the big problems the Wii U had, was the games that came out, Ninja Gaiden 3, etc., were all overpriced on the Wii U. And people feel some of the games for the Switch are currently overpriced, like Bomberman or 1-2 Switch, which a lot of people feel they should have that as a pack-in title, which goes against my idea that it's made for hardcore gamers. And a lot of people feel that a lot of the Wii U games were overpriced, which they were, except this, Ninja Gaiden 3 being probably the only example of the one that wasn't overpriced, because it was an entirely new game compared to the original, with all of the stuff they added, be it the weapons, the characters, the whole different scenarios and that they added in just for the Wii U, and then later came out with the other systems. Whereas, let's say, Mass Effect 3 came out, and a month later they had the Mass Effect trilogy, which was all three games for $10 more. And no one would buy Mass Effect 3 for the Wii U when you could get all three for the better price. Also, Deus Ex had this problem where the director's cut was $50 on the Wii U and $30 when it came out with the other systems, and they came out at the same time. And most people who had a Wii U probably had a PS3 or an Xbox 360 already, so there was no point in getting it, which really is what destroyed their sales. And then the developers and the producing company said, we can't support this, we're gonna have to pull it out, which is their fault. They're the one who mismanaged and mismarketed this stuff because they made it too expensive compared to their other options, and generally the difference wasn't worth the price, especially when you look at something like Mass Effect 3 versus Mass Effect Trilogy. In fact, the only two games that generally were worth it were in fact Ninja Gaiden and then, oddly enough, Tekken Tag Tournament, with Ninja Gaiden 3 being a completely new game built for the ground up almost, and Tekken Tag Tournament being the same price no matter which system you got it on. Also, the other major issue that I've seen and heard is the paid online subscription service, which is what PlayStation and Microsoft do. And personally, I think it's a good idea. The whole peer-to-peer thing doesn't work as well as people think it does, because more often than not, it makes a game really bad. Basically unplayable. Although I do agree with that the whole get one old game free Super Nintendo or Nintendo Entertainment System game is ridiculous compared to the Sony and Microsoft offerings, because they give you theirs and you get to keep it as long as you're a member, or I think in Xbox case just straight out forever. And Nintendo, you get 1 month and then that's it. And I haven't heard anything on like a deal afterwards, like, oh, if you really like this game you can get it at like a discounted price for like 90% off. But you get better server quality, which helps with a lot of games, especially if you like Smash for Glory, or if it actually comes to the system, a Call of Duty, it really does help. And you also get bonus discounts when stuff's on sale, at least for the other two competitors. Where it's, if you're the member, you get an extra however much off besides the sale that's going on, which is a great thing for people. And the other issue being the phone app that is supposed to be going with the online service, where you have to hook everything up through your phone in order to do matchmaking or lobbies or whatnot. And that's definitely weird. It's different, especially considering the other two, it's just on the system. But you will be in public, and I assume they're going to sync game audio through your phone. That way you don't have to mess around with two different sets of sound. Like, you're like, alright, I have to hold this up to one ear and put this up to the next. Nah, that would make sense. It'd actually be weird if they didn't do that. I couldn't imagine how they would otherwise. And this all ties into my idea of that the Switch is made for hardcore gamers. You know, nerdy people. Like me. If you couldn't tell, I'm a nerd. And I'm proud to be a nerd. I don't know why it hasn't panned out yet. But no. And you know what a nerd is. You've seen... Well, depending on where you are, you might have a different stereotype for a nerd. You might have the thin, Poindextery type or the thicker, heavier set type. And there are nerd girls. See? Nerd girls. They're awesome. And because Nintendo is a Japanese company, they're also marketing it towards the otakus. And when I say that, if you know what that is, you know it's either the basic shut-in type or the one who feels like the mediums are better than reality. Which, to be fair, they kind of are sometimes. But these are the people the Switch is made for, and it's kind of looking like they're marketing it towards. Because if you look at a lot of the games here, you can see that really they're focusing heavy on RPGs and that, and the kind of games that most of us nerds enjoy. Puzzle games, games where we kind of have to think a little bit more than we probably should. Whereas they're, you know, family-oriented or group-oriented games, you know, for younger audiences or that, or, what, 5 or 6 of them here? I see Just Dance, Imaginators, Minecraft, Mario Kart 8. These are family games. Whereas 1-2 Switch could be considered a family game. It's more of a party game than anything else, and I think that's why it's not included in the bundle, is that they don't want to say this is a family-friendly system, although that will probably be true. Is the fact is, the way they have this set up, the Switch is a system for nerds. Straight up, the hardcore gamer. And the games that are currently looking to be in for the first year, and just the idea behind the system, that it's a system that you can play at home, and then when someone bothers you to do something, which is how it's going to be for me, they're like, alright, bring it with you. That's for nerds. That's for the hardcore gamer, the guy who isn't going to want to stop playing, like, ever. And that's why the more and more I see, the more excited I get, because it's a system tailored specifically for me, it feels like. As someone who is this hardcore nerd, this gamer who doesn't want to stop. Except I have to because I have a job and I have bills to pay. That's why it is I think the Joy-Con idea is brilliant. In this weird, really not subtle way. And that is that they chose a red and blue, you know, player 1, player 2, for that when you share it, and you're like, hey, who do you want to be? It's like, alright, I'll be the red or I'll be the blue, which is great. But no, more importantly is that the fact that they chose bright neon red and blue. Which is a really weird idea, except with the way I've been saying is that it's for the hardcore nerd, and we don't care how we appear out in public. Normally it's just like, yeah, I know I'm wearing this really goofy outfit, but I like it, so whatever. That's why you see people in like the goofy Charizard onesie pajamas in public. That's a nerd, straight up, who's just getting comfortable with their life. And they know we're going to have that in public, and they know we're going to be playing the, you know, neon version, and people are going to look at it and go, well, what's that thing? Because it's going to catch their eye, and that's brilliant, because then they're going to ask the person, hey, what is that? What the hell is that thing? And we're going to be like, oh, it's the Nintendo Switch. And they go, oh, I've heard about that. And they're going to see how comfortable we are, the fact that we're just playing that in public. They're like, wow, I want something like that. And hell, depending on the game we're playing, we might just hand them a controller and be like, hey, try it out. And then what do you know? Someone else who just got super interested in the system, and we sold it that way, without Nintendo having to lift a finger or pay a penny for it. So, it seems weird at first, but then when you consider all the options to it, everything about the Switch screams, this is a system that the Wii U was supposed to be. Straight up, this is what the Wii U is supposed to be. A system for hardcore gamers. Those of us who really love our games probably more than we should. And I like that. That is me. And that's a lot of people. Look at it. The Switch is currently sold out of every type of pre-order they've given it. Which, to be fair, the Wii U, what was it? It had a quarter of its sales in the first, like, few months of its life cycle, and then it just went from there. Straight down to the toilet. Finally, I want to put something out there, and this is a quote directly from Miyamoto that says, "I hope consumers look back at the Wii U as a necessary step in order to get to the Switch." Which really, I feel, validates my entire point on the system being tailored for, I hate repeating myself on the term hardcore gamer, but that's who it's for. It's for us who really don't want to stop gaming. And although we probably should for a bit, people, fellow nerds and gamers, take a break once in a while. Do some squats. I prefer cholo squats. That sounds really bad, but look it up. They're amazing. Go talk to your friends and family. Get some friends. Things like that. Alright, our little PSA is over. But no, I feel, and I think I see, that the fact that the Switch is going to be for gamers like me, gamers who like investing all of our time and money into games, and who would prefer to live in the world of the games. Wow, that sounds really bad. Really, really bad. People, go outside. No, but really, this is a system for us, and we should enjoy it. We really should. We're getting what we wanted. And although it comes with a few caveats, if you will, I think it's going to be totally worth it. And this is from someone who, alright, I'll be honest, I'd probably be considered a, what do you call it, a fanboy, if you will. I don't look at myself that way. I have virtually every gaming system possible, save for the Xbox One. That's only because I can go to my parents' place and play that, and they only have like 4 or 5 games I actually want to play on it. Especially considering Scalebound got canceled. What's up with that, Microsoft? Huh? But no, this is a hardcore gaming console, and I'm looking forward to it incredibly. I already have mine pre-ordered. I will be there if there's a midnight release, and if not, I will probably break in to get to it at midnight. I think I have a legal right for that. Alright, I'm being told I don't have a legal right to break into a place. Don't do it, people. Don't. Alright, thanks for tuning in to BTV, Better Than Vegas, signing out. Hell, and to put everything to what I've said to a quote, Miyamoto himself said, "I hope consumers look back at the Wii U as a necessary step to," I can't speak English.